Right guys, it's going to be a video regarding the state of Destiny 2 and the things that we can suggest to Bungie to improve the seasonal model that we've got right now. So I'm going to be covering a couple of things within this. It's going to be a long video, but it's for those that want to hear it, as there is a lot of people that are agitated with Destiny 2 right now, as am I a little bit. But the things that they can do, Bungie, is that they can look back at previous systems that they had and implement them in unique ways. So what we need to realize is that this seasonal content that we've got right now is designed to ensure that your engagement within the game is as high as it can be. Whether this is positive or negative, it doesn't really matter. They still want your engagement high. Okay? Since they're buying time for Destiny 3. Destiny 2's kind of been, you know, rocky anyways. So it's tarnished with that bad name. You know, even though the game's far better, it's twice the game than what it was in vanilla D2. It's still tarnished with that bad name. So that's not going to change on the in the public's eye sort of thing until Destiny 3 comes out. Then it's a fresh slate because it's got a new number on the box, and then people can actually say, well, actually this game's like the best Destiny that we've ever had. They're never going to say that about Destiny 2. Destiny 1's still always going to, they're still always going to say Destiny 1 was better, even though Destiny 2 is close-ish to Destiny 1 in some respects, but in other respects it's nowhere near. So this isn't a video about D1 versus D2. It isn't. It's more about how we can use systems from that game to implement into the new one. So the first thing would be bounties. So in Destiny 1 there was a plethora of bounties to pick up. It wasn't always this way. Like when the first D1 vanilla launched, there wasn't a lot of bounties to pick up, but they were there. Okay? But in D1 that number increased and there was other vendors that you could pick them up from. But when D2 came out, they scrapped bounties entirely. Everyone hated this, didn't feel right. We had milestones and daily challenges instead. The system didn't work, hence why it got scrapped. Rightly so. We did end up coming back to bounties, and bounties felt okay. Like when they first came out, it was refreshing, liked it, enjoyed it. But then they went over the top. When Shadowkeep come out, they went too far with it. Where we could infinitely farm XP for power level. Okay, so we could infinitely go up and up and up in light. This system could work if they really wanted it to, in a better way than what it does now. The problem is regarding how the power level mechanic itself works. Not just us farming the levels up, but how it's not even working anyways. It's probably how they wanted it, but it's not enjoyable. So I will get into it more after, but basically if you go into a 980 master hunt and you have somebody use 990 power and another guy's 980 power, both of them will do the exact same damage. I feel as though 50% of players don't know this mechanic. I feel as though they don't know, they have no clue. Like, you need to start researching stuff, find out, is this mechanic working? Because it's not. If you were 1000 power, it doesn't matter. You're going to do the same damage as me if I was 980 in a 980. You might be slightly tankier, but you know, it's here or there. It's not that much. So when you've got these people, you know, leveling their artifact up to 30 and 40 and all this stuff, why are they doing it? If you're somebody watching this and you're that high, why are you doing it? And if you disagree with me, dislike the video. I'm not bothered that way. I still think it's ludicrous to people leveling up this way, as it doesn't mean that you're better than most. It just means that you've got more time than most. Okay, but what I'm trying to point out is that there's no point anyways. We can't overlevel content. In Destiny 1 we could overlevel content. For an example, say I load up Crota's End, the base level edition, and I'm on my Titan. I pop up Weapons of Light Bubble with that sword, can one phase him no problem, easy, and I do a lot more damage to him. Say I go into the highest level of Crota's End, Yeah, I might still be able to one phase him, right? But it's going to be a much harder one phase. I'm going to do a lot less damage than what I did on the base edition. We can overlevel content. That's just an instance of it. I'm not going to tell you the exact mechanics of Destiny 1 because a long time ago, I can't tell you exactly how much we could overlevel by and whatnot, but you could definitely overlevel content in this game. You can't in Destiny 2. We can't overlevel content. I feel as though a lot of people don't know that. It's very important to know. So what your goal should be right now in Destiny 2 is get to 980 power, you're done. Your main goal, to be honest, should be to get to the max Pinnacle gear score. Yeah, that should be the real goal. Not to get to that. So you should be getting to, you know, your 970 Pinnacle score. So the soft cap's 960. So Gambit, Strike, Crucible, all that stuff's going to get you to there. And then the Pinnacle, the 10 level grind, where the, you know, 960, 970. That should be your real end goal for the season, not to. And then obviously your XP is going to get you to 980. But once you're 980, that's it. There's no gains. You're done. Just go and farm your titles or whatever you're doing. So that's my piece on that. I'll explore it more after. But like I said, that's basically how the difference is. D1 we could overlevel, D2 we couldn't. So with these bounties, like I said, there was bounties in Destiny 1. There was experience points, but for each bounty you got Vanguard rep and Crucible rep. So there was two big reasons to be doing the bounties, but they weren't obligated. You weren't forced to do it. Right now, you're kind of forced to do it because you want to level up that season pass. You want to get your items as soon as, and the best way is just to be doing a ton of bounties. Okay, if you start not picking bounties up, your season pass grind is gonna be very long, right? But in Destiny 1, so we got the rep. So what we could do with that reputation, we could go to the particular vendor. Now this, to keep this engaged as well, we would need plenty of vendor refreshes in D2, which we're not getting at the minute. Which is a big miss, because it is new content and it makes you want to do those bounties even more, and then you don't mind the grind of it, because it's like, well, you might get a god rolled sniper, you might get a god rolled weapon. So in this here, we could pick whether we want a weapon piece or an armor piece, which was a big deal. They should do that in Destiny 2 as well, incorporate that. Why not? We had that system. Just follow on from it. It worked. People loved it. So if you wanted to farm an LDR, you could. If you want to get a triple tap casket mag sniper for PVE, you could. If you want to get a short gaze, quick draw, snapshot, sniper, whatever it is you want for PvP, you could. Right? So you could farm it. So that made it good. So the bounties were worth doing. Not only that, there was other types of bounties. For example, Zavala, he had his own unique Nightfall loot from these bounties. You could only get them from the bounties, I think. I don't know if there were drops or not. I think there might have been drops at the end of Nightfalls as well. But regardless, these bounties were worth doing. Not only that, you could get the Icebreaker, which was super rare, from one of these bounties. Forget which one it was. So there was a reason to do these bounties. Notice there's not like 50 billion, right? There's only 3, right? So it's quality over quantity, not quantity over quality. Okay, so that was another good way. Bounties, I don't have a problem with. It's how they use them. And like I say, in D2, all it is just an XP grind. So in Destiny 1, the way XP was used was not for our power grind, but it was for using on weapons and armor. So if you had any weapons or armor not leveled, then you could just go to your motes of light, which you got a mote of light. I don't remember how many, but you got so many motes of light per level up. And then when you got those, you could use the motes of light to level up your weapons and armor. In Destiny 2, they're already leveled up. You don't need to do this. The thing is though, what we need to realise is it is an MMO game, so there's got to be some grind there. You can't just have everything given to you. I understand that if people get a god roll weapon, they want to use it straight away. I understand that, but I'd much rather have XP going towards our weapons and armor rather than our power level. This also means that you're going to be investing into weapons. You know, so you get a god roll weapon, you're going to want to level that right away, so you don't mind putting the motes of light in. If you're somebody who's max level anyways, you're going to have a ton of motes of light, and that's going to be the purpose of them, to use them to level up these weapons. And if you don't want to spend the mods, fine. Go and farm it in a mission or something. You'll soon level it up. They could adjust the XP levels on that in Destiny 2. Because in Destiny 1, I remember it was quite long to level a weapon up fully that way. But, like I say, not only that, you could change Masterwork cores in Destiny 2, so maybe change the name of them or something, where you do get them on level ups, okay? And then you use them to not only level up the weapon, but to masterwork the weapon. So you'd have your perk set here, then you'd have an additional node, and it would say masterwork weapon, and it would ensure that you get the additional stats for whatever rolled masterwork stat you have, and then you get orbs of light, as we would, okay? So you'd be leveling it up via your material that you got for leveling your character up. So that will go hand in hand, and I think that would be a nicer way, because as people do struggle for cores in the game as well. I know they're for sale, Tangle Char and stuff, but people are always fighting for cores. It's not as bad of a problem because there's those bounties to do, but I feel as though maybe get rid of cores and somehow have it to our level up like we did in Destiny 1. That was a better system in my eyes, and they could incorporate it to the Masterwork system as well. That's another suggestion. Another thing that we could do with this material. So this is the thing, there was multiple avenues that you could do with materials for leveling up, so it wasn't just for one purpose. And in Destiny 1 we had faction vendors that were around in the tower all the time. In Destiny 2 we had faction rallies, so they come and go. So it meant 1 week they're there, say, oh, I've got to play so much this week, and that was another idea to get you the engagement up. Like, it's just another smart way of getting you to play more. But you know, this was a far better system, just having factions around all the time. And what you could do is you could use your Mote of Light. Every time you level up, you're getting that, and sync those. If you have a plethora of them, you could sync them into your faction, and then pick a weapon or an armor piece which was unique to this faction, and it was themed to that. So then you would, you know, get a chance at a God Roll Scout or a hand cannon, whatever it is that you were looking for, or a God Rolled Warpath with cluster bombs. You know, whatever it was. I actually thought in Destiny 2 that they were gonna, when Destiny 1 was over, I thought they were gonna elaborate on this even further and have factions around, and there would be specific quests and missions, like very specific, and it was a quest chain linked to them for you picking them, and it was only for Pneumatic or only for Dead Orbit. But they didn't even go that far. They went worse than Destiny 1, and it wasn't perfect in Destiny 1 either. But that's another thing that you could do with it. Like I said earlier, you need vendor refreshes to keep this going. Like, if we're a year and we've still got the same weapons, I'm less likely to be learning, you know, handling in materials or farming any of this. Because by that time, it's too long. You need vendor refreshes, constant refreshes on that. So that's all the systems that I think they should implement. Another key thing was strikes. So we'll go into that now. I'll go to Orbit. So with Destiny 1, they done really good with strike loot. So strike loot was themed on what the boss looked like, okay, with the weapons and the armor pieces, and each sort of nightfall or strike had something to grind for, right? You know, some things were better than others, but not only that, you needed a skeleton key to open those, right? So doing the nightfall or doing, I believe you could get the skeleton keys to drop during an heroic strike, okay? Don't quote me on it exactly how it worked, but I do remember it being a thing, okay? Not only that, the modifiers were good. You could farm it for hours, like this week. It's actually a pretty good week. It's got specialist on and stuff. Not only that, you even got a Eververse box for doing it, which was handy. We kind of get that now when we're leveling up. We get, you know, that engram, but it's all old stuff in Destiny 2. So that's another thing they could do. Add back the skeleton key system. it was like really good, a really good thing to do when they done it. Rather than right now where it's just random, you get it or you don't. You know, this confirms that you get it, and there's a chance that you might get a random roll on that. Like you might get the god roll on it. So that's systems that they could incorporate. I'm going to go to Destiny 2 now and tell you further what they could do with the leveling system, as I feel as though that's the biggest issue for me surrounding that. That's all the D1 recommendations I've got there. Okay, so this part of the video is going to be regarding more in depth on the power level side for Destiny 2 and how it really works and what they can do to change it to make it more rewarding than what it is right now. So as of now, if I launch a activity, we're talking more about endgame stuff now. So say I go into a Ordeal, Nightfall. I won't cover the 980 because I'm like not 980 or 990 and all that stuff. So we'll just say the 950 for this, for the explanation of the part, right? If I go in this activity at 971 light, all my weapons are gonna do a certain amount of damage. If I bump my light level down to 950, they are gonna do the exact same amount of damage. So even though I'm over leveled on the content, I'm not getting any gain from it. I might be slightly tankier, yes, slight, and I'm talking slight, I'm not talking a major difference, I'm talking a couple of % worth of a difference. So if we're going into there, it states here that it's a recommended power of 950. Now we've always had this recommended power suggestion off Bungie for activities since Destiny 1, and in Destiny 1 it was there for a reason. It was, this is what the activities level is going to be. This is what we're advising you go in at. More of the thing. This is what level you need to be going in at to comfortably complete this mission. Right? The word recommended insinuates that, oh, okay, so if I go in at 950, I'm going to get it done. But what if I go in at 960? I'm going to steamroll it then, aren't I? If I'm 980, 970, I'm going to smash this activity. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay? Because you're locked in at 950. So this description right here, recommended, should say locked power level 950. Meaning that 950 is the maximum you can get to for this activity. You can't overlevel it. With them using the word recommended is misleading. Okay? Plus, they don't state anywhere in the game specifically how the power level mechanic works. They do here a little bit. So they say, you know, it's aggregate of the power value across all your current equipped gear. The higher your power improves both your damage output and your defense. That's half true and half a lie. And it's not enough of a description as well. Okay? It's just saying a higher power level. They're not saying where, when, how. They're just saying that. Right? I understand they don't want to start putting like calculations there and this divided by this and all that. I don't want that, but they should like either change the way the power level system works or what, because that's just untrue and that's not how power level works. Like I said, we're locked into the activity. Okay? So I don't know whether this is a problem with the power level mechanics or whether this is a problem with the activity level mechanics. I don't know in depth about that because I'm not like a programmer or whatever, but like I said, they need to change it, because once you start getting your artifact power at plus 20 and plus 30 and all that stuff, you start going from 2 million XP to 3 million XP. That's a lot of gameplay to get to that level. And I know there's efficient XP farms, but not everyone lives in that world of farming XP 10 hours a day. Not everyone's a streamer. That's only a small amount of this player base. The average player base works 40 hours a week and also plays this game as a hobby on the side that they enjoy. And it's more than likely the only game that they play. They maybe play other games here and there, but Destiny's their main. For people who really, really like Destiny. And for those players, they're getting screwed out on this because they're not able to get the max benefit that maybe like... It's turned into like a streamer type game, but at the same time, all that XP is a waste of time. So when I see somebody 1,000 power, I'm just going to laugh at them and think, well, you don't know much about the game because... you're just adding to the problem. You're farming these XP bounties constantly for what? For a little statistic on a website. If that's what they're doing it for, then whatever floats the boat, but I'm not going to be doing it because it's just a waste of time. If we could overlevel power content, right? If we could overlevel stuff, and if you were 1,000 power and you could do amazing things, I'd be one of the first to do it. I'd want to do it, but there's no gain to it. It's just a waste of time. And not only that, this is all going to reset. This is all going to reset in a couple of days' time. No wonder people get demotivated by it. Like, it even tells you 74 days. Like 2 months to go. All this gameplay is just going to be wasted fun. It's going to reset. It's going to keep my engagement up, which Bungie wants. It's not what I want, though. It's not my experience of a game. So, that's basically how it works. As far as if someone, let's just take, say, for example, a new player. They just got New Light when it come out. They played through that, and then they ended up buying more within the game. Say they just bought all the expansions. They played the first mission and they thought, right, buying everything. So the 750 light, everything starts at 750. Forget 500, 400, 300. Everything was automatically infused to 750 light. So the experience from 750 light to 960 light, which 960 at 960 light you need pinnacle activities to get you to 970, which is the hard cap. I believe that experience is okay for the middle part of the game, because that's what it is. It's the start and the middle part of the game. The way you level up is just via blues, legendary engrams, world drops, exotic quests, all that stuff. That's fine the way we level up. You're not always going to get what you want, but there's enough drops that happen frequently enough that it's not a problem. Once we get to 960 light, and then we need to start doing the pinnacle activities, this is where part of the problem can lie. So the pinnacle activities that we have are the Nightfall Ordeal, more specifically the 100k. So you need to forget what that powerful gaze states. That's more for leading up to the 960 power. So there's powerful rewards from all the vendors like Gambit, Crucible, all that stuff. All that stuff just gets you to the 960 power. After that, none of that matters anymore, right? We're just talking about the Pinnacles. So the Pinnacles, we've got the 100k on the Ordeal. What else have we got? We've got the Master Hunts, which you need to complete one on 980, on the 980 level. Okay. Then we've got the Dungeon, which is only the final boss, so none of the other drops at a 980 drop, at a Pinnacle reward, and the Raid, okay, and the Raid as well, the current Garden of Salvation. So those are our Pinnacle drops. Now if you're a solo player, or if you're not in a clan and you're not raiding, then you've only basically got 3 sources. If Iron Banners comes up, which it's always a great week, I've noticed even PVE players are enjoying the Iron Banner weeks, and I'm not on about, you know, having to play it. I'm not talking about it in that sense, because a lot of people hate Iron Banner. I'm talking about the amount of power level you can get from that week is really good. So you're getting the 4 bounties. It's Iron Banner this week actually. So you get the 4 bounties, which are all Pinnacle rewards. So people will love this, right? And then you combine that with all the free other activities, and if you raid as well, you can gain a lot of power within that week, which is good. People like it. Why do they like it? Because they can make a lot of progress. Okay, they're not hindered too much. So I think the problem is when there's no Iron Banner and stuff, there's not enough Pinnacle activities to do, which is a problem. Now the raid has got a lot of drops within it, but like we've got to admit, not everyone's raiding at the minute. So what I think they should do is sort of like maybe make more Pinnacle drops, drop more frequent, because what you've got to realise, if say it's not Iron Banner and you're only doing 3 activities, you're not doing the raid, you could get 3 heavy weapons that all drop at 962. Okay? If they all drop at 962, you have made no progress that week, and that wasn't your fault either. Okay? What system's that? So that's where you go from a system that, you know, is rewarding you, then it's not, because it's based on RNG drops. So this is where they could do something where the last 10 levels, you can use an item or some sort of like material, like not material, but something like the Chalice of Opulence. So this was developed for Menagerie, which where you can put in all these combinations and you're basically picking the loot that you want to get. The Sundial lets you do it. The Sundial will let you pick what you want as well, so that will be a way of doing it. When the activity finishes, You know, you just go up to something and it brings up an interface, and you can pick what you want. What I think they could do for the Pinnacle power grind at the end, they could increase it to 20 levels if they want over 10, but basically you have something where you come into your menu, your interface, and you start picking whether you want a primary kinetic or an energy weapon or a heavy weapon. Maybe not specifically pick exactly what grenade launcher or what sword or what hand cannon, but just say that it's going to be a kinetic weapon. So then there's still an added level of RNG of a drop, because we all do like it when a random weapon drops that's a god roll. It gives you a good feeling. So you still want to keep that in the game, but at the same time let us pick what Pinnacle reward we want, what type, whether it be a helmet, a gauntlet, a class armor. They should have that in the game, because this annoying grind between the 960 and 970 light is annoying. You're leveling up all season, and even if you're raiding, you still might get screwed on drops. You might get duplicate kinetics, duplicate energy weapons. They need to sort that. That's one thing they could sort out, and just take a leaf out of what they done originally with the Chalice of Opulence. Have it so we can pick our Pinnacle drops. Because right now it doesn't make much sense. You're relying on RNG. Fair enough, we want RNG in the game always. Makes you feel good when you get a well-rolled drop. But not when we're trying to level up. It's just annoying. So 1 week, that's it, no progress made. So what does that make you do? What does that make you do? If you don't get the drops, it's like, well, I'm going to have to farm more XP this week then, to get my level up more. Then you have to do pointless bounties that are not difficult at all, that would take a toddler to do, okay, in a lost sector, farming over and over. It's just annoying, and it's not something I like, and I know there's a number of other people who don't like it either. So that would be a way of improving it. That's all my suggestions, as it's a long video already, but that's what I think they should do, because we're going to have this seasonal model for the foreseeable future. It ain't going to change just like that, because everything with Bungie's slow move, and it always has been, and we can't expect too much. Since they're on their own now, they've got Nova Studios, so that's just my general take on it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.